Namaste, Masha here, welcome to my channel. I'm very excited to be coming to you today with an unboxing and a walkthrough of the package that I've just received delivered by DHL all the way from France. And by the way, it didn't even take a week to arrive into my hands, and as you can see from the title of this video, today we will be looking at the deck that's my largest tarot investment when it comes to tarot decks thus far, and that's Tarot de Besançon by Pablo Robledo and released by Kartograme by Agnes from Kartograme company in France, who is artisanal courtier. So we have two courtiers, Pablo Robledo, who recreates decks, and Agnes, who produces them, coming together in this joint partnership this year and releasing 3 decks. Well, not releasing necessarily, some of them are made to order depending on the stock and depending on what paper you choose to order those decks to be made from. So yeah, I received Tarot de Besançon. That's the one I wanted, and I did. It wasn't a very easy choice either, because the other 2 decks that are available are the Jean Dodal Tarot, of course by Pablo Robledo and Kartograme together, and Vandenboer, which I received Pablo's last year's copy of Vandenboer and I absolutely love it. But this video is about the Tarot de Besançon, which I think is going to be delicious. So let's have a look. I loosened the tape here and just removed extra paper that was there. So if you open that box, packed really nicely. So the layer of the bubble wrap paper, and you can see here a card, 2 decks. Yes, I did order 2 decks, and I'm not going to be showing you the second one today. I want to make a separate video for me to share that with you, because I think it also deserves that separate video, as both those decks do. And I'm already getting distracted. Underneath here I can see lots of paper scraps, and I already pulled one. And as you can see, if you watch my previous side-by-side video of Vandenboer Tarot by Pablo Robledo, they are the backs of the Vandenboer. So they're extra scraps of paper just to provide extra cushioning for the decks, which some of those pieces I will pull out and include into use them as my bookmarks, because the paper just feels really lovely. So yeah, as I mentioned, I have this deck, which I don't think that's the Besançon looking at the package, and I will make sure that I will make another video of that. And I also received the card here, and of course this one, based on the image, I'm just kind of pretty much, I'm not even sure which one is which, but I have a good feeling that this particular one will be that Besançon. It comes with that seal. I don't know if it shows, but I will show you when I turn the camera around. What I'm going to do, I just wanted to do this unboxing and to share my excitement with you, and then before I turn the camera around, I will just sit and meditate with the cards, and then I will come back and I will do that walkthrough. But let's have a look at this card first. So, you can see from Kartograme, artisan, courtier. Courtier is just meaning card maker from my understanding. And I have 2 card samples here. I'm actually not going to show it to you right now, because one of them I will show you with the other deck that I ordered. I think that will make better sense, and the other one I will show you when I turn the camera around with Tarot de Besançon. But I'm very excited. So the little card written on that artisanal paper, which feels just so very beautiful. Hello Masha, I thank you so much for your order and for your trust. It's a great honor sending these decks across the planet. This makes me feel a part of the universe, and I really hope the decks will give you a good feel once in your hands. My best wishes to you, Masha, little heart. and her name signed by Agnes. That's very lovely, and I'm so grateful for those samples. I will share them with you as well, I think, but they do deserve me to turn the camera around to do so. Yeah, so that's the back. Just a little softer sticky tape. Drum rolling, just it's beautiful. It comes in a velour velvety pouch. Just have a look how beautiful it is. It's fully lined. And yeah, here it is. So we have here Terre de Besançon, Pablo Robledo. I tried initially, it was probably released in 2014. My copy is 2 out of 50, so only 50 copies of this one is released with the copyright on this card. Just have a look how beautifully it is wrapped. And I know I did purchase this deck to read for myself and others, but it's just this ribbon, the way it's wrapped is just so beautiful that I guess I'm taking my time before I remove that wrapping paper, that envelope paper, reminiscent to how decks in the past were wrapped, right, by Cartier's card makers. Let's begin just pulling that artist card, because that would be the same quality as the other cards. So they are the backs, and the cardstock is wonderful. It feels really smooth, and again, when we turn the camera around, I'll just make sure that I zoom and you have a look how it really looks, but it feels really lovely and it's reasonably pliable. Size-wise, this is Pablo Robledo's Dodal, so if you have Pablo Robledo's Dodal, you from last year, not from Agnes. So if I compare them, yeah, so the card seems to be, or at least the artist one, yeah, a little bit narrower, just tiny bit narrower, but the same height. And if you look at AE weight, just more kind of standard card comparison to give you an idea. The cards are much smaller and much narrower. But I love those backs. That's the size comparison for you there. And they honestly do, they feel they just feel quality, beautiful to touch. Yeah, maybe let's do it. Remove this ribbon. Probably a bit tricky, I don't want to break it. Probably have to just seal there. Yeah. Okay. And we are almost in. Even the quality of this paper is just so beautiful and feels so old. Wow, the cards are stunning already. Yeah, so that's what we have. If I end up moving to my larger house, I'll probably do a bit of framing of some of my art paper envelopes. Terre de Besançon, Pablo Robledo, UCB. Yeah, so there you go. You can just see for yourself what's written there. And Terre de Besançon, same as when it comes to Terre de Marseille, in my understanding, nothing to do with the cities, because Besançon is the city in Burgundy, I trust, in France, and of course Marseille is a large city in France. But when it comes to Terre de Besançon and Terre de Marseille, those the names of those tarots are used to describe or to refer to a style of a tarot rather than the city where it was produced or even originated. So yeah. The last card is the one that has Pablo's signature. Yeah, they just feel beautiful, so very beautiful. I'm going to sit with them a little bit by myself now, and then I will turn the camera around and we'll have a look. If you, of course, if you're not familiar with Besançon or Tarot de Besançon, what differs it from Marseille style decks or Tarot de Marseille is the La Popes and Le Pope, the Papes and the Hierophant cards were replaced, traditionally are replaced by Junon and Jupiter, but we'll have a look, and yeah, a little bit later when I show you the cards one by one, we'll have a look at all of those cards. But I really feel like it's really one of the better investments I've done when it comes. Look how pliable they are. I'm very happy with their pliability. And before we have a look at those cards closer, I also wanted to mention that this Besançon Tarot by Pablo Robledo is not a reproduction of a historic deck as such, but rather Pablo's re-envisioning based on his extensive research and studies of historic tarot decks, along, I trust, with his inspiration based on his personal taste. And having now this deck in my hands that I had time to sit with, and with Pablo's Marcella Tarot along with Pablo's Dodal Tarot being some of my favorites, and again this statement is only based on what I've seen in the cards themselves and what I have read in Pablo's comments at some stage, that his tarot inspiration among some of his decks some of historic decks that inspired him are Jean Dodal Tarot, Pierre Madini Tarot de Marseille, Jean Payen Tarot, Francois Chasson and Claude Bourdelle, from the ones I remember, from the ones that I can recognize the names. But yeah, let's have a look now a little bit closer at these beautiful cards, at the paper. So I as I mentioned, I chose the art paper, and based on my conversation with Agnes, she did mention that the art paper, the cards are, as you can see the pliability here, the cards are a little more flexible than the other paper, the handmade paper, more pliable, and because of the lighter paper, the colors seem to be a little bit more vibrant in this deck. So as I move my finger across the cards, it's almost they have this coating, and you can see in here a little bit of a glaze, right? And I trust that would be the lamination by reversible glue, which feels absolutely lovely. But also the cards do have the almost like fabricy texture. So yeah, I went for this cardstock, of course, because with Pablo's decks I do appreciate the brighter coloring, and as you can see now, even looking at the full cards, the colors are most delightful to an eye, or at least to my eye. And yeah, so as you can see, they card not very perfectly as well. So you see the different width next to the borders of the cards, which I really appreciate about more historic decks and Pablo's reproductions, right? That I don't know, just somehow it makes those cards feel more authentic to me, closer to how they used to be produced. Yeah, so this is the full, and as I mentioned with the influence, I very much see the Madini influence here in that full card, right? The tarot is from Yves Renoir, Madini Tarot, Pierre Madini of 1701. Once again, they're the backs, and we'll now have a look. Let's all close. I just show you the cardstock. So using the full card as an example. Yeah, beautiful. The Magician with all those vibrant colors. And then we have the Junon instead of La Papes card. So yeah, as I mentioned before, what we do know about Besançon tarot, it's the style rather than the origin as a city, as a location for the production. And I read in this book, and this one is actually by Giordano Berti, who is a historian when it comes to tarot. And what he says here in this little booklet, as you can see, that Tarot de Besançon as well as Tarot de Marseille as terms were invented by a French manufacturer and collector Paul Marteau, heir of the famous game card factory and Tarot BP Grimaud. And also he references the oldest known style Besançon deck was printed by Parisian Pierre Lachapelle in Strasbourg around 1750. So that's what we know about Besançon, right? And Giordano Berti also mentioned that the only difference between the Tarot de Marseille and Tarot de Besançon are those two cards, right? The La Papesse, which becomes Junon, and the Pope, High Priest, which becomes the Jupiter that well, we'll have a look in a few moments. The colors are just so vibrant and so very beautiful. So here we have Jupiter as well. I do very much love having Juno and Jupiter Tarot de Besançon lineage, because I think they do add that the movement and flow to the major arcana, which I really appreciate. And I'm very curious to know what's your view on that. So again, we have the other card that I see very strong resemblance or inspiration, I guess, that Pablo may have had from Pierre Mazzini Tarot, if you have a look. Chariot, here Pablo Robledo's PR. Again, that's another indication that it's Pablo's deck. It's re-envisioned deck. It's not a reproduction of a historic deck, yet it is inspired Pierre Mazzini, or not the Pablo's Besançon is not inspired by Pierre Mazzini. I must correct myself, but some of the cards they look to me that Pablo drew his inspiration from Mazzini Tarot. Don't want to keep this video too long, so the Hermit. They feel really lovely, those cards. And I mean, I did sit with them already, but I can't stop looking at them. I'll show you a couple more. So again, just have a look. There are fours from Pierre Mazzini deck and Pablo's newest Besançon. You can see they feel really lovely, those cards. They almost feel, with this coating, they feel very airy and light. I love Pablo's devils. This devil, of course, reminds me of his Marcella deck. So many eyes. Once again, well, probably because recently I've been using Yves Mazzini Tarot for the course that I'm doing with Camilla Elias, hence I just couldn't resist to pull some of the cards to show you the resemblance I see in one of my favorite of Yves decks, Pierre Mazzini, with this beautiful deck by Pablo Robledo. And here we once again see the influence. If you look at the face of the dancer, and if you look at Pablo's version. So when it comes to the last card of the Major Arcana, right, the World card, Agnes also sent me a sample of the other type of paper that she has, and you can probably see already with the coloration that the paper that I chose is the coloration is a little bit brighter when in the handmade paper. So that's the handmade paper, the colors they do differ a little bit. They're very similar, right? But you can see the paper is a little bit darker, but I mean it's beautiful. So as you can see with if I show you once again the pliability of the cards that I chose, and these ones they're a little bit they're a little bit sturdier, so they're less pliable, but they seem to be a little bit heavier and a little bit thicker. And these ones, because the I guess the different technique was used, they do feel like they were smoothed out by soap bars. Well, they were, but it feels like the cards feel like that. But they're absolutely stunning. I mean, both of them are stunning, and I don't even know actually which one I prefer now that I have that sample card as well. I actually love them both. They are both lovely. What do you think? So I'll have a look at the suit of coins now. In 2011, I wonder if Pablo initially released the Besançon in 2011. I love the eyes in the horses. I love the faces. I mean, I'm a huge fan, and I very much respect Pablo Robledo's craftsmanship and talent and work. And now we move into the suit of batons. Now I am in absolute awe and in love with the work of Agnes from Kartograme is the name of her business. What a lovely person she is to communicate with. But I just can't stop feeling those cards. They honestly, they're so lovely. It's the best paper. I feel a little guilty calling this cardstock, because it's paper. It's beautiful, it's durable, it's coated paper that is just amazing. As I mentioned, for me, Pablo's cards and coloration, the colors he chooses, they just delight to my eyes. I'm actually so very happy now with my choice out of those 3 decks that are available: Vandenboer, Dodal and Besançon by Pablo Robledo, that Agnes of Kartograme can create for you, because I do have Marcella, and I have a backup copy of it, and I do have 2 copies of Dodal, And I'm actually quite pleased as well. My Dodal is also number 2 out of 50, and so is the Besançon now is number 2. I do love that number. As you've seen, we are coming to the end of the suit of the swords. Cups. And Pablo's initials here. I did mention it to Mindy, to my friend Mindy yesterday, when I was sharing my excitement about this deck, that I really, I don't know how I can go back to other cardstock now that I have those cards in my hands, and I felt them, and I sat with them. Few of the last cards here. How stunning are they? And that's Pablo's signature card that I'm going to put out now to the side. So you probably can hear the sound. So you see, you feel that it's paper, but that's paper with such durability because of the process of the production, and you can see these cards. They do feel almost ethereal and light and airy, and you can see how nicely they would shuffle. And this is just a quick up close look of the wrapping paper that the cards came in. I do really love that seal, as you can see. It's just the details of the packaging, details on the cards, the quality of the paper. And there we have the newest addition to my library, Tarot de Besançon by two wonderful courtiers. I have started shuffling the cards now. Let's listen. What a lovely sound they make too, and I'm so thrilled to have this tarot now in my library, and I'm so grateful to Pablo Robledo and to Agnes Kepler of Kartograme, and I apologize if I mispronounced any of the names in this video, but I'm really grateful, and I'm already worried and I'm already in trouble. As I said, as this deck being the biggest investment when it comes to tarot, I also want another deck now that I felt the cards. I want another deck from Kartograme, from Agnes, and the one that I'm really eyeing on now is Jean Noblet Tarot, the facsimile copy, but in handmade paper that I'm lasting over now. I've learned to love tarot and Jean Noblet Tarot, but this video is not about that. I also wanted to mention that Agnes is the nicest and warmest person to purchase from, and she was very helpful and answered all my questions and posted my cards in such a speedy way that from France in Australia they got in under a week. And then I had them in my hands within 6 days of the postage, and one day actually it was Australia for they were in Newcastle, Australia, so really 5 days to get from France to Australia. And I will link Agnes's Kartograme website and her Instagram page. I will link Pablo Robledo's pages where you can see updates on their decks and little clips of, especially if you love geeking on your cards, it's a lot of kind of information you can learn from their pages. I will also link Agnes's Facebook video where she talks about the differences between the art paper and the handmade paper, paper that those 3 decks that I mentioned by Pablo. So this is Tarot de Besançon, Jean Dodal Tarot, and Vandenboer, that can be ordered from Agnes, but she also has some other decks available on her Kartograme website, the facsimile decks that are really, really beautiful. But yes, everything about this particular tarot, I can honestly say, speaking from the heart, that is perfect and stunning, from the craftsmanship by the very talented Pablo Robledo to the perfect paper and sharpness of printing, really superb production quality and packaging by Agnes of Kartograme. I cannot say I can say better things about the deck. I'm really, really impressed, so much so that, as I said, like, I'm already looking at another deck from Agnes. It just stunning. Well, really, now having held this deck in my hand, I think it's worth every cent that I've spent. I'm very excited to have it, and I'm excited now to do a reading with these beautiful cards. I'm also very, very grateful to you, my friends, my subscribers, for your time, for stopping by, for watching this video, my videos. I'm sending you so much love and light. Namaste.